So jumping in, what is the product operating model? And I guess out of curiosity, right, is anyone here like completely unfamiliar, never heard of it, have no idea what this is, which is totally okay. I'm just curious, kind of, okay. So RJ, you're saying you're not so sure or not familiar. And again, like I said in the beginning, the idea here is none of this is really kind of like left field. It's mostly really practical stuff. And it may be things that you've had the pleasure of working in an organization that they're working that way. Your startup might actually work this way, but it's something that you have to, again, I'm curious to just kind of understand where people are. I appreciate RJ you for being not shy and sharing that fact. Okay, so starting with one of the godfathers of the product operating model, Marty Cagan. He is a product person from Silicon Valley, has a consulting company, and has written a bunch of books about the product operating model, hundreds and hundreds of pages about the product operating model. He lives it, breathes it, and for the most part, he has become such a big proponent of it because of what he's seen in those businesses. Those that are operating with this in mind have been more successful. So the idea is in the product model, product teams exist to solve hard problems for your customers and for your business in ways your customers love yet work for the business. It's a mouthful. I literally cut the quote down to this, but I think I can probably do a little bit better job of explaining what he means. So, from my perspective, the product operating model is all about building products that are solving a real customer problem that actually needs to be solved. I've been in organizations where we've built things and the customers don't adopt it and it doesn't go anywhere and we're all left scratching our heads. But the real, at the foundational level, it was a problem that they need to have solved. So it's like you can solve things, that's great. But if it's not something that customers care about, it's not the kind of worth your time. And then the solution has to make a material impact to the customer, whether it's kind of a realized business gain or even a personal outcome in a product that is maybe more consumer oriented. It's got to do something real, right? Drive revenue, increase their speed and agility in their business, drive cost savings, or if you're a regular kind of consumer, some joy, like bring happiness to me with your product. And then the other side of that is the product must be built and maintained within the business constraints of your company. So there's many times where I've been in organizations where a solution is proposed, but the reality of that solution cannot meet the business constraints of the company. It's too expensive. We don't have the right resources. The ongoing maintenance of that becomes cost prohibitive. That is the reality. And that is kind of the challenge with the product operating model. It's like you got to solve the right problem, it's got to drive real results, but you got to do it with the constraints that you're living in. Because if you can't do that, your business becomes non-viable, even if you're doing all the other things right, bringing joy and bringing outcomes. It has to have that balance. So who owns that balance in a business, right? And really in the product operating model, it is owned by the product manager. Their primary job is this idea of continuous product discovery. So one thing to keep in mind, I think people hear product discovery and you might think of 10 different things. It could be customer interviews. It could be researching competitive products. It could be prototyping and building things that aren't fully baked, but you can put that in front of a customer and get feedback. It's all of those things that get kind of bucketed into product discovery, but it's a continual thing. You're never done. You're always learning, which I think for the agile folks here, like, yeah, you need to be continually discovering to be feeding that pipeline of continuous delivery and continuous value creation and all of that. And then, that person, the person in that role, they need to make sure the problems that matter are getting prioritized, right? We're not creating solutions for things that people don't care about. We are building things that are going to delight our customers. These things are driving real value. They're doing what we intend them to do. And then being in that position, you were very much mindful of what is within the practical limitations of the business I operate in. Like, what can we actually do? I think my extreme example of this is transportation. Hey, an amazing solution to transportation would be build a machine that we can teleport ourselves to wherever we want to go. It would absolutely solve the problem. It's a really meaningful problem, and it would do all the things I talked about, but is completely impractical in any business today. There's just not a practical, and beyond just the fact that it's not possible. You get the idea.